This video shows the setting up of a Towtal A-frame combined with the RVi electronic braking unit. Initially, you can see these are the components of the A-frame and its mounting crossbar and various other bits and pieces. So initially, the first thing to do is to insert the towing eyes, which go into a pre-made cross member that's behind the bumper that's installed with Towtal, and that's what the crossbar of the A-frame will actually attach to. So the first thing is to put the towing eyes in place. That's with one of the towing eyes in place, and this is all that the towing eye is. It's just basically a long bolt with a spacer and a tightening nut on the end. So initially they just need to be located into the holes in the bumper that have been left to fit them, and to screw it in, slide the spacer in so it's well home, and then to tighten the securing eye almost to the point where it's rigid, but not quite. I'll explain why in a minute. You just need to get it to a point where that's kind of hand tight and as vertical as possible, and then you can do the final tightening when the crossbar is in place. With the towing eyes in place, the crossbar is slid in conjunction with the legs of the A-frame to the point where it goes and comes out the other side, and then the two holes that are left here and here are for a couple of spacers to go on, just to take out some slack, and a sprung loaded securing pin which goes in the first hole like so and clips over so that bar can't move out of there. There's also a hole there for a padlock which will fit towards the end, and then there's the breakaway cable which clips onto a little attachment that's already on the front of the car, which connects to inside the car, which I'll show you later, and then that cable's connected to your tow bar, which is the breakaway cable. So if the whole thing came unhitched, that would pull the pin and put the brakes on the car. The car is prefixed with the electrical connections, which just tuck away under the bonnet when the car is in use as a car. So to connect to the A-frame, it's just a matter of releasing the wire, running it down and connecting it to the corresponding plug on the A-frame electrics, and just then using this little thing, this little hoop here with the padlock, just to keep it away from the bodywork to save it scratching the car when it's flapping about in the breeze. So once the A-frame's in place and the electrics are connected, it's all padlocked in place, then it's just a matter of putting the A-frame up out of the way for the road to be able to manoeuvre the car into position onto the motorhome, and that's just done with a bungee strap which keeps the A-frame up out of harm's way when you get ready to hook it onto the van. Now, with the car positioned correctly behind the motorhome, it's just a matter of dropping the A-frame down onto the tow ball and connecting it so that the little indicator, I think you can probably see there's a little green cross in amongst a minus and a red cross. Well, if it's in that position, then it's securely locked. Once that's securely locked, it's just a matter of connecting it to the motorhome electrics and then connecting up the little breakaway cable I showed you earlier, which just goes around the tow bar, hooks back on itself, and just provides a last minute security in case the whole thing came apart at some stage. Now, the final part of the A-frame installation is just to tighten those pins that go in that actually fix to the crossbar inside the car, and that's just a matter of, now it's all in there nice and straight and level, just nipping those up both sides so that nothing can move about or vibrate free. As regards to the car, it then needs to have red warning triangles fitted at the back, which is a compulsory requirement because it has to conform with the UK trailer regulations for lighting and braking, and the triangles denote that the car is actually a trailer. No mistaking about that. It would be illegal to have them if it was a car. It must be a trailer. Also, you need the registration plate of the towing vehicle rather than the car itself, because it's not a car on tow. That denotes it is a trailer for the vehicle that's pulling it. Right, now for the braking, this is the RVi2 electronic braking system, which you can see has all sorts of settings on it, but basically the vehicle's set up to be a lightweight car and on just low settings, so it's not actually overactive on braking. We found that to be the most sensible, and with that you can barely feel that there's a car on the back when you're braking. It doesn't try and push you or drag you back or anything. The actual installation of the unit is very straightforward. You just plonk it on the driver's floor behind the brake pedal and attach the foot pedal piece, which is a bit difficult one-handed, but you can see how that actually goes into place, clamps onto the pedal, so that's going to do the braking for you. Now, there's a couple of electrical connections. This first one goes into the front of the unit, and that's the breakaway cable mechanism. So if that pin was to be pulled at the front, as I showed you earlier, it'll activate the unit, and in activating the unit it'll apply the brakes full on. The second one is just a small electrical antenna connection, and the electronic system has a kind of a communication with the motorhome for its settings, and in doing so you can alter the settings as you're going along, should you find that you're not too happy with the lightweight settings that you've initially set it to. Once that's done, then it's just a matter of plugging it into a cigarette lighter to power it up, and the internal compressor will power up the reservoir, which is what actually gives the hydraulic action to the piston which operates the brake pedal. Whilst that's doing that, the little remote control that goes in the motorhome is the thing that connects via that antenna, and this goes into your cigarette lighter of the motorhome, and you've got various settings on there which allow you to change the settings on the main unit if you want to while you're actually moving along. Now you can test the unit when it's in place, as it's charging up or when it's charged, by pressing the auto start button, and you can see that the hydraulic action presses that brake pedal, which is what it does when you're actually driving along. So you can see how it works there. And finally, it's just a matter of making sure the vehicle's ready to actually be towed away, and that amounts to checking it's in neutral. In this case we're in two-wheel drive, handbrake's off, and the ignition key needs to be in, up to ignition on, and then one click back, which ensures that the steering lock isn't in any form going to operate. And that's it, you're ready to go.